Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I got a video, short one today, that I think is super interesting. And it's just things I've posted in the last 24 hours on my Facebook, which is really my primary method of communication there because I can lay out pictures and stories and all that. And but my YouTube friends want a video, and so that's what I've got. I've got a picture here, a screenshot from a video I did, and you can see at the bottom it's cropped. It says Kansas City Chief Suspect. You can find that on my YouTube channel. There's a video about it, and what it is of course Kansas City won the the playoffs yesterday, and they're going to the Super Bowl, and so it was appropriate time to post this picture. And I found this cap underneath the cabinet from where I was shot from. Okay. And basically after I returned from the hospital, I was shot by surprise by somebody under the cabinet 2 weeks after reporting a suspected tunnel to DEA. I didn't see them. I didn't expect anybody under my home to shoot me, of course. And then later when I pulled that cabinet out, I found that cap under there. And so obviously whoever covered up that trap door that the ex-wife had told me about, the hidden entrance in my house from the tunnels and underground facility, multiple people have said was here, they left that cap. So it's a huge, huge clue, is this Kansas City Chiefs cap, okay? And then there was a couple people here. I went ahead and Susan Magana, here, I'll scroll down, and she's the sister of Mike Lawhon, the previous homeowner that died 2 weeks before I bought this home, suspected of being murdered here. She called me one time and she told me they had a brother named Brian Tennis, okay? And she saw that she had seen this hat, and she just brought it up that Brian was a big Kansas City Chiefs fan. And, and I wouldn't have known that if she wouldn't have told me, and I took that as a clue that she was giving me, and maybe Brian Tennis knows something about this home being rigged, and thus the murder took my life, and maybe even the murder of Michael Hall and all the other crimes. I spoke with him, and that's that screenshot there, and he was denying, said Susan doesn't know what she's talking about. But what he said was that there was a confrontation and with a gun with Mike Lawhon, and he had to talk him down or something. So there was some kind of argument, fight between Brian Tennis and Mike Lawhon before Mike died, and it included a gun in this house. And also Brian said his wife lived here at the time too. And then one other screenshot I had was this guy that emailed me in September 15, 2017. I've got it right there. And going by the name Mark P. Jones at cheerful.com. And he said he learned how to fake x-rays when he's in medical school back in the 70s. Well, I've got triple proof that my x-rays are fake. But he also mentioned that he was a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Okay. And so I've all along said if law enforcement would just trace the address, obviously this is a guy connected to the crimes, and specifically the maiming, mutilation, faking x-rays and all that, the sick and horrific medical crimes. And so the next post I did here, and I'm going to try to keep these quick. It says, I keep my faith in God, okay? And I'm just going to read it because it's short. It says, I believe that I made progress on the crimes here recently, and I hired a private investigator before Christmas who told me that a whistleblower at the police department had leaked some emails showing that the chief of police here in Midland had been involved in covering up the crimes here. I posted this 13 hours ago, okay? And that would be the underground facilities and its connection to the multiple murders, oil show, prostitution parties, alleged pedophile parties, horrific medical crimes, fraud, and thousands of burglaries, thefts connected with the many other rigged homes. Okay, this obstruction of justice. Okay, around the same time, he told me that his tires, this is the PI, had been slashed on his vehicles and he was being stalked. We were going to meet one day before Christmas. He didn't show up, and it's been a broken promise every day since. His last message was, it'll all be explained real soon. Okay, I've hoped that meant legitimate law enforcement is involved in an investigation, but I don't know that, and the crimes against me have never stopped. Every once in a while, I have to remind myself that my security isn't in police or PIs, but in God. Okay, and thus that was the title of this Facebook post. I figured out some things lately, and I made some new videos which are interesting, okay? And that's just this week. I made a video about Landman attorney Matt Hyman, who I suspect got electrocuted in my hallway 2 weeks before I was ambushed and shot on January 14th, 2012. It dawned on me that his friends didn't call 911, which meant they chose to let him die to save themselves from being arrested for breaking into my home instead of getting him help. I've long suspected they blame me because their friend died, and that might have been a motive for murder 2 weeks later. And I got a video on that you can find on my YouTube channel. I ran across an older conversation where this woman told me that Hailey Dunn's mom, Billie Dunn, was one of Joe Commander's girls. Joe is an investigator for the Odessa District Attorney's Office, and many people have said that he was dirty. This told me that she was a paid informant, and that could explain why the big-time dealer, Letty, had Hailey murdered. It really does make sense and help explain the cover-up. Now, keep in mind, I'm not the one to say Letty ordered the murder. That was a recorded conversation. And also keep in mind, we're talking about the kidnapping, rape, and murder of a child, And so anybody's, wanting to think anything different about that, want to say anything about recording conversations, snitching, any of that, well, you're on the side of people that are kidnapping, raping, and murdering children, as far as I'm concerned. And so here's these videos. So that was an interesting post, and you can go watch the videos there. And then the one from today was real interesting. And is this the shooter? A woman from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico, contacted me last month, and she told me that she had been hearing things in her attic. As you'll read, she said her former boyfriend told her that he and his friend shot somebody in Midland. Now, she didn't say they shot me, and she didn't say who they shot, but said that he had confessed to her about shooting somebody in Midland. And I provided these screenshots to my private investigator a few weeks ago, and I finally decided it was time to make it public. She said that she would meet me at the police station if I wanted more information, and she didn't ask me. And here's the screenshot. Just a part of the screenshot. Heather O'Donnell was her name. He tried to kill me with drugs. I said, I believe you. I got away and went straight to the hospital. His name was Donald Cobb. I looked up his Facebook, and she said, yeah, that's him. And I asked, I said, is he related to Ryan Cobb? And she tells me that, she thinks it's a sex trafficking ring. I'm like, I agree. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then I go on to tell him that Ryan Cobb's mom is named Lisa Rogers, from here in Midland. And she's the one that told me that I was shot with a .45 handgun, which fits the evidence, okay? And it also is one of the proofs showing I wasn't shot with my gun. And being that I wasn't shot with my gun, I was shot with another gun. Somebody come to my home and shot me, and that's a capital attempted murder, okay? And so, anyways, she wrote, when Donnie was drunk and him and his friend shot a guy. And I said, in Hobbs? And she said, in Midland. So I was asking the question in this Facebook post, is this guy, this Donnie Cobb, the shooter that tried to murder my home? If not, who did he shoot? And this is a screenshot from Lisa Rogers. You're not disabled with a .45. Well, keep in mind that the lie that was spread was I was shot with my own shotgun. And it's been proven that wasn't happening. Triple proof. I was shot with a .45 handgun is what I believe, because that's what she told me, loaded with the Glazer safety slug. There was a plastic tip pellet-filled bullet to make it appear that I was shot with a shotgun. I also have, in this post right here, the entire message and dated time, and this was the private message from Heather O'Donnell here. And I'll just copy and paste that into underneath the YouTube video. Anyway, some really breaking stuff out. Hopefully real soon we can stop these people that are breaking the homes. And keep in mind that I've documented homeowners all over Midland, Odessa, Texas, Hobbs, New Mexico, multiple other states reporting people in the attic. So I think it's real possible maybe this guy's the shooter. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.